Another very common action are hair pulls. Somebody grabs you by the hair and hits your head maybe against an object, or pulls you or drags you across the ground. So the question is, how do I perform hair pulls safely? Let us give you a few hints and a few safety practices on how to perform this action safely. What really sells the hair pull is my partner's reaction. So I have Lauren here, she's gonna help me out, and we're gonna work to the reaction of a hair pull. So right now, I'm gonna pretend I'm grabbing her hair from the top. So the way to perform this safely is to actually not grab the hair, but pretend that I'm gonna grab the hair, and I'm exaggerating the motion now, so I'm pretending I'm gonna grab the hair, and I'm gonna close my hand and then place it on my partner's head. So when that happens quickly, it might look like I've grabbed some hair, but actually, I'm not grabbing it. My partner's reaction, really slowly to start with first. Imagine if I was pulling my partner's hair for real. So it would move the top of the head first where the neck is, around the neck area, and then the shoulders would come with me. And so my partner's reaction sells that, not my actual pull. So I'm not pulling, even though I'm not holding the hair, I'm not pulling, but Lauren here, she's doing the action and I'm following. So I'm not leading, I'm following. The only lead here is me placing my hand on her head. So in the moment I do this and I place it, the rest is now Lauren's performance of that reaction. The quicker she does the reaction, the more we believe that I pulled really hard on her head. So in the moment I go in and she goes really quickly, now we believe I pulled on that hair. And yes, it might not look like I'm holding the hair because right now it's very clean here. What I mean by clean is you can't actually see any hair in my hand. That's now part of, obviously, makeup and costume. What we can do here is I can actually grab some fake hair, put it around my hand, and so when I grab, it'll look like as if I'm grabbing hair, but instead of grabbing real, I'll have fake hair in my fingers, and I'll still place my hand on top, and like that, if for safety reasons we ever need to separate, we can just separate. I'm actually not gonna hurt Lauren, I'm not gonna pull on her real hair. So that's one way to do it, really safely on top, and then partner goes with it. And so it feels like I'm pulling my partner's hair, but it's actually my partner's performance that's selling the action. Another way to do it is if I was to grab for real a little bit of hair, for my partner to anchor my hand in against the head. What that means is Lauren would grab with both of her hands my hand and really press it hard against her head. Like that we become one. So we are one unit. So if I'm actually pulling on the hair, I'm actually not pulling on the head, but we have that connection between her head and my hand. So if I was to grab a little bit of hair for real, and now Lauren was to grab my hand and really squeeze down hard. So if I move my hand now, it's gonna move her whole head and body, but I'm actually not hurting her at all, right? Did I hurt you, Lauren? No, nothing at all. Even that now I actually have a real hair in my hand. It's not the preferred way to do it because I'm actually physically holding onto her hair, but it's another good way to do it if it gets like a really messy scene where the actors or maybe even a stunt person and the actor have to work together, but it's not meant to look clean, it's meant to look really messy. So maybe beforehand we were fighting, maybe we were slapping each other, maybe it's like a real domestic violence type of fight, and now I'm getting there and I grab hair for real. Then I have to wait until my partner plays along. So if I was to grab for real here, Lauren would as quickly as she can grab my own hand and anchor in. As soon as he does that, we can now move around really violently and she's not getting hurt. The safer method is not to grab the hair and then she doesn't have to grab it, so I can just place my fist on top and she's doing the performance. Now the second one we just did, the one holding my hand, that also helps if I have to drag somebody across the ground. So we'll stage it for you in a second so you can have a look at that as well. Now we're gonna use the same technique, but we're just gonna work on how to drag partner across the ground while pulling their hair. So same idea here, I'm gonna place my fist on my partner's head so it looks like I'm grabbing a piece of hair. My partner here, she's gonna grab onto my hand and pull down really hard. So I can't actually lift my arm up because we're now connected as one. Same idea as before, if I was to move now back and forward, we move as one because partner is pulling in my hand onto her head. The second thing, the partner is gonna help me by moving their legs a little bit into the direction of travel. So what we're gonna do is, I'm dragging obviously and she's hanging on with her hands, but at the same time she's also pushing with her legs, which is helping the drag. and it's gonna look like she's kicking, but in reality, she's actually helping me drag her in the right direction. So now that we have the grip, let's look at the drag. And action. And cut. Very safe, very good. And action. And cut. As you can see, very safe to perform, and you can do it over and over again. Just using the technique of not actually holding on to your partner's hair and your partner pulling your hand in really hard against their head and making you two one unit. And then partner can help out your drag by using their feet against the ground. It also helps that whole action look more believable, that you are actually holding your partner by the hair and dragging them across the ground.